welcome to the second Saluki Online Session. This is designed for, as you see on the screen, to empower online learning, to provide you with resources and ideas, to support you by talking about important topics, and also to collaborate. So we hope that you have one or two or all three of these objectives met by the time that you finish even the session today. My name is Dr. Susan Wegmann, and I'm the Executive Director of Extended Campus here at SIU. And it occurred to me that people may not know what the purpose of these sessions are. So I wanted to display that. I also wanted to let you know that the audience here, we want you to be online learning, a teacher, or if you're just interested in online learning, then please feel free to join us, spread the word. And then also the format will be Teams meetings. We've decided that since we have participants from all over the US, as well as just all over the state of Illinois and the city of Carbondale, that Teams meetings are probably the most appropriate for this setting. And then the cadence is monthly. Now, this semester, we only did 3. This is the second of 3 this semester, but we do have a full slate of sessions for the next semester. As you can see here, spring. We're going to be talking about just the active engaging online students. We're also going to be talking about promoting inclusive online pedagogy, and then assessing online learning. Assessment will be the key. And then finally, in April, optimal practices for online learning, kind of a wrap up of our whole term. I do want to point out there's one more session available for this term, and that is to talk about preparing your online course for the next term. So we're going to have our instructional designers here with us. We're going to have some guest speakers, and it's all in service to helping you prepare for the next semester. The topic of discussion for today is online RSI, or regular substantive interaction, and the U.S. Department of Education. So as of very quickly, events that have happened or occurred recently with our elections, we're not exactly 100% sure what this is going to look like. But so far, this is what we know. That the Department of, this must be on some sort of timed, the Department of Education has been giving us this knowledge that regular substantive interaction is important. It's really what sets us apart from correspondence courses, and it allows us to be flexible enough to understand what our role is as online instructors. Excuse me. So the technologies they're talking about here, we've got the internet, we've got 1 or 2-way transmissions, audio conferencing, and then other media. So we basically use, or we always use, the internet as our mode of delivery. So an individual is an instructor an instructor is an individual responsible for delivering online course content. And then it meets our qualifications for instruction as established by the Higher Learning Commission, which is our regional accreditor. So regular substantive interaction is built right into our definitions from the U.S. Department of Education. They have told us that we need to have RSI, substantive interaction, by engaging with students in teaching, learning, assessment, and it has to be one of these or two of these following: direct instruction, assessing or providing feedback, providing information or responding to questions, again, about the course content, facilitating a group discussion. And then I love number 5, other instructional activities approved by the institution or the program's accrediting agency. This is the one that gives us a little bit of flexibility in terms of what we are calling substantive interaction. And then they unpack the word regular by saying that it needs to be predictable, and it has to be on a scheduled basis. And we have to understand that if you are in an 8-week term, for example, you're going to have those appropriate times of this interaction. So maybe once a week or maybe twice a week. But if you're in a 16-week term, again, looking at the responsibility of the instructor to carry out what does regular mean. So I hope that you see right away there are a lot of questions a lot of questions about this definition. It is closer than what it used to be. It used to be just regular substantive interaction with no definitions at all. So we were happy to get this maybe about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And we're going from the idea that, more information is better. So if we take a peek at the actual definition, I want you to just consider a couple things. This direct instruction leads us to think about synchronous courses. It leads us to think about the video that the professor may create based on the content. But every single one of these, even including number 5, needs to include interaction between the faculty member and the student. And it needs to be gathered around course content. So it's not just, hey, how's it going? How was your weekend? Those are really important things, but not when we're thinking about regular substantive interaction. So I like to be very clear about that. Here are some examples. I've given you a few already, but if you give weekly live lectures or webinars with discussions, either virtual or live discussions, those are regular substantive interaction episodes. If you have interactive quizzes or interactive assignments where the faculty gets, or the student rather, gets individualized feedback from the faculty member, that's regular substantive interaction. Discussion board participation, again, if it's not just how was your weekend kind of things, but if it's directly responding to the course content, that's considered RSI. If you provide, or when you provide, personalized feedback on assessments. When you have interactive multimedia content, and this is doing things such as embedding questions within a video or giving students a feedback loop. In fact, talk to me if you're interested. I've got some AI prompts that will give the feedback loop and then even can loop in the instructor so that it becomes an RSI piece, this AI kind of thing. And then synchronous discussion groups. So if you have a session, or maybe you hold a synchronous session, but you have a breakout time, that's considered RSI, where students are sharing about the topics, but they have to get feedback from the instructor. That's the key that was missing in some correspondence courses that they're trying to, frankly, crack down on. Here are some non-examples. Pardon me. Students logging in or navigating course website. So if they're just going in to look at their grades, or they're going in to see, what's on the thing for the reading session that week, that's not RSI. Rapport building, we've mentioned. How was your summer break? How was your weekend? Whatever. Students viewing recorded lectures without any interactive components or any follow-ups. So it reminds me of that. I've heard some people call it plug and play, where you just plug it in and it plays and then the students move on. That's not RSI. If they are just looking at course materials, again, the piece that's missing is the interaction. If they are submitting assignments, but they don't get personalized feedback or personalized instruction. And for this institution, we're talking about the actual faculty member giving the instruction, not self-graded test or AI giving the instruction or the feedback. Students checking grades, we've mentioned that. It's a non-example. And then peer review. So sometimes we have discussion boards, especially where the peers give each other feedback on what the student is talking about. That's not RSI. And so it is interesting, though, the $6 million question, is how often should we receive and plan on RSI? Well, there's no universally optimal frequency. And I've been looking, but for us, we are recommending at least one regular substantive interaction activity be scheduled per week throughout the term, no matter what length of term your course is, one per week activity. Even for fully asynchronous courses or courses that are entirely synchronous, asynchronous, blended, we need to have that at least one per week. And then instructors need to provide information on the most recent instances of student participation. So I wanted to make sure that we understand that, because there will be times when the instructor has to fill out a report especially for financial aid, but other issues as well. We've spoken earlier about the veterans, VA benefits and TA benefits. Those are all reliant on how much the student has participated throughout the semester. If you are providing at least one RSI per week, then you can easily log into your LMS, which is D2L here at SIU, and figure out when was the last time you had your RSI activity. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that's when the student participated the most recent time. So it gives you that, I hate to say insurance policy, but I'll say it, that you can prove there was RSI that occurred on this particular date. All right, so we'll take questions in just a moment or comments in just a moment off our recording, but I did want to mention that we do have one more topic for this term, and that is preparing your online course for next term. These flyers, I hope that you've seen in your emails and your listservs and all other kinds of things. We do have, again, a full slate for next semester as well, and we hope that you will participate in those. And thank you so much. I wanted to give you my email information at the bottom. If you have not already emailed me, I highly recommend doing that and letting me know, your questions and your comments.